Hi, my name's Lottie and I'm here with Chelsea, who's also known as Peachy on Depop. And yeah, we're just going to talk about how lockdown has affected the second-hand selling industry, especially on Depop, and yeah, just how lockdown has been for her. Firstly, how has lockdown generally been for you?
A bit boring, like it has been for everyone, but it's nice to have spent some time at home and not at university. I've had good quality time with my family, more time to exercise. Like, I've definitely put a lot of effort into well-being and being able to balance that with working on Depop, uni work, and other projects and stuff.
Yeah, it's been a good time for that. So you're a second-hand seller. How did you first get into selling online?
Uh, I started when I was about 14 or 15. So towards the end of secondary school, I just started on Depop selling things that I didn't wear anymore. And I'd always kind of shopped in charity shops because I didn't have loads of money when I was younger. And obviously it's an easy way to get cheap stuff. And I kind of started on Depop a bit for that as well. Like, I didn't want to pay even the fast fashion prices for stuff. So I'd buy it off Depop. When I was about 16, I started taking it seriously because I bought a £3 American Apparel skirt in my local charity shop and then sold it the same day for 25 plus postage. And like get on my little bike down to the post office and get it shipped off straight away. And I was like, oh, like I can actually make money from this. So I think I had like part-time jobs when I was like 16, 17. But then as I started taking it more seriously, like I didn't even need to have a part-time job. Like I treat this as my part-time job.
Do you think that lockdown saw an increase in people sort of using apps like Depop? 'Cause obviously, they can get to charity shops and things. Like, did you see an influx in activity and like selling stuff, or
Yeah, at the start, definitely. I had a lot more sales. I had to take a break for a bit because, so at the start of lockdown, obviously when it was you're only allowed to go out for exercise or food, I was like, oh, I don't know if I should be going to the post office. But like after a couple of weeks, when I started posting again, like yeah, it really picked up. It's a bit of a low at the moment. I've only sold a couple of things this week, but it usually goes up and down with paydays. And I think just people being at home on their phones browsing more.
yeah, for sure, because people had obviously more of a disposable income because they weren't spending it on sort of leisure activities and stuff.
Mm. Or even if they didn't, like trying to pick up a bargain and stuff.
I think that now lockdown has sort of softened up, that you're going to continue to see a decrease in sales, or do you think it's going to kind of go through a bit of a wave again?
I think it'll even out. I always panic when I don't get sales. So I'll have like 3 days of no sales and be like, oh my God, like my Depop's going to shit. Like, what am I doing? What do I need to be doing more of? Like refreshing more and more hashtags. But then it always picks, then like 3 days later, I'll sell like 4 things in one day.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of part of the process is that it's not entirely stable. Like there will be peaks and stuff. I sell a lot of stuff like in the middle of the night, like when I wake up.
Do you think that lockdown will have changed people's shopping activities in terms of, do you think people are going to be a lot more online, or do you think that maybe people have missed that like in person sort of shopping experience?
I think a lot of people are missing the in-store experience. Like there are some things that online shopping can't do.
Mm.
Like part of the enjoyment of going to charity shops is being able to like touch the fabrics and feel the, well, not even charity shops, like any shop. Um, and I think that's some of the problem is fast fashion is like you can't touch it and then you get it and it's shit quality and like then you've got to send it back or it just goes to waste. Like I think it has made people appreciate a lot more being able to touch and just like being able to interact with people as well, like in stores.
Was it harder to source items during lockdown, in terms of, it seems like most of your items are sourced from charity shops? Sort of what did you do about that during lockdown?
Um, so I'd say before lockdown, it would probably be like a 70-30 split of charity shops to eBay. Whereas obviously I used eBay a lot more in lockdown. I also got a lot more into buying bundles.
Oh,
Um, buy bundles of clothes because it's cheaper to buy, but then it's more of a risk because will all of it sell. Just really like trying to have a better understanding of what people want to buy has helped.
Do you think recent scandals with brands like Boohoo, in terms of sort of the way that the fast fashion industry is run and ethics behind it, has possibly made people reflect a bit more and look into possibly shopping a bit more ethically?
I hope so. Like, I'd like for that to be a change, but I also think that some people need it. Like, some people, Depop and stuff. Like, I try and sell my Depop stuff cheap, like, but I still have to make a profit, obviously. But I still want it to be accessible to a lot of people. But some sides of Depop just isn't, like the Y2K side of Depop, the Brandy Melville. Like, I'm sure anyone acquainted with Depop knows the sellers that will like sell like literal child's t-shirts for 20 quid. So there are some people that like need that cheap fast fashion clothing to clothe like their growing kids, and I think there's a lot of like eco shamers that will be like, oh, like you're being fast fashion, like you're the worst thing, but forget that like more ethical fashion, not just secondhand, but like organic materials and like made in the UK can be like, it is out of a lot of people's price range. And even things like, I try to make my shop more inclusive to different sizes. I think the highest sizes I've got in stock at the moment buying from charity shops is like an 18 to, and like a men's XXL. Like there will be women that are a lot bigger than that that need to be clothed, like deserve to have a nice dress for a night out and stuff. Like, but they might not be able to find it secondhand or sustainably and stuff.
What do you think the overall effect of COVID on the second-hand clothing business has been? Positive and negatives?
Yeah, I think it's been positive, but also, have you seen on TikTok recently, like a lot of people calling out Depoppers, like charity shop gentrification and stuff? I think there's been a lot of eco warriors and stuff, and obviously that's kind of an issue, but I don't think you can solve it by shaming people who are also doing good.
Yeah.
Like in secondhand clothes, that's still creating like a circular economy. Like that's what we want. And to have girls just sitting there like, oh, Depop's awful, like everything about it's horrible. Like, I think you need to consider the whole picture and not just that one thing.
Because part of the expense of Depop is the effort to go and source the items,
Which are from charity shops. So like you're charity.
Yeah, so in terms of, it's, if someone's looking for a pair of mum jeans in their size and they can go and search on Depop and find them, part of the money, if say someone's bought them from a charity shop, is that they found them in that, like, because if you're going to go to the charity shops, you couldn't just say, oh, I want this. Like, part of charity shops, it's a long, like, it's a lot of effort and a lot of time spent filtering through a lot of disgusting items to find the good stuff. So that's part of the cost of it.
And also like cleaning things, repairing things. So a thing that you might see in a charity shop and be like, or like, oh, it's got stains on it, which like in a couple of months they just might chuck that out. It might go to waste because it's stained or whatever. But like, I try to see if I like something, like regardless if it's got a stain or a hole, like do something to repair it. I think that's important.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of trending stuff on TikTok of like sort of reworked fashion seems to be really in at the moment, which I personally think looks very nice.
Yeah, I think TikTok has been really good, not only just for well, I'd say it's been a bit negative for secondhand, but even like thrifts and stuff, like it's exposing that they're not just like dirty, smelly clothes. Like when I shopped there when I was younger, I used to be like head down in Paris that see me from school, whereas now it's cool, and I think that is a good thing that it's cool.
Yeah. Right, well, thank you very much for talking with us today, and hopefully we'll see your business picking up and more items being sold.
I hope so too.